So, if I mention again, the whole text is divide into 5 categories: name, paying homage, promise to compose, main body of the text, and conclusions. 3 we have already discussed. Today, on the main body of the text. In this main body of the text, we have in brief and in detail. In brief, I already explained you last time. Today, in detail, main body of the text. Now, main body of the text is explained in 3 Vajra points. First Vajra point has to do with place, where to practice. What is most appropriate, suitable place in which one practice. Second, who is the practitioner? How do you define that practitioner? Third Vajra point, what is the practice? So these 3 Vajra points are the main body of the text. Now first, today, we will begin with the place. Okay. If we have the text, please turn to the page. There's no page number, page 5. No, 6. Number 6 is there from first Vajra point. Okay. Now, let me first say, this is very important. There is not a place where you cannot practice Dharma. I want to make sure this. Right now, from wherever you are listening me, participating me, may it be from your room, on your couch, on your bed, or driving, or walking on the beach, this is the perfect place. Right now, where you are is the perfect place to meditate, to practice Dharma. There isn't any places that are in which you cannot practice Dharma. As you know, in Vajrayana practice, in visualization, we always talk about visualize this very place is the Pure Land. And that these very friends, Sangha members we are practicing with are Vajra brothers and sisters. They are divine nature. You are asked to visualize like that. So, in this case, there isn't any place that cannot be practicing Dharma. Okay. Now, if that is the case, then why we are talking about here? Why Longchenpa wants to teach us the place to begin with, where to practice Dharma? Well, this has to do with certain practices are suitable to certain locations. May it be because of the season when you are practicing. Depending on the season, winter or summer, some places are better than others, given time. Likewise, depending on the practitioners, are you a beginner or mediocre practitioner or advanced practitioners? So these people, different faculties, if you find a different locations, it's more suitable for you. Likewise, the very practice you do, may it be calm abiding shamatha practice or insight meditation vipassana practice, certain locations are a little bit better, suitable than others. Now, when it comes to Vajrayana practice, we have all kinds of practices, like 4 activity practices. Certain activity practices are suitable for certain locations. Therefore, we talk about places. Which places are suitable to certain given time, season, and given the practitioners, given to the very practice we do, we talk about different locations. So therefore, we will talk about which places are suitable to which practices, to which practitioners, to which seasons. Okay. I also want to say that, which I usually quote this, Guru Rinpoche himself said that Pema Kyu, his holy place, sacred place, is a wonderful place to practice. If you practice there, one day equals to the practice of a month in other places. Well, when you look at other religions also, obviously, all identify certain precious locations that are powerful places. If one engage in such any practices, spiritual practice, these locations are powerful. So such teachings, I guess, in other religions also exist. Likewise, as you know, in Vajrayana practice, we at the beginning of sadhana practice, many of you are very familiar, we call requesting the local spirit, so that if one propitiate them, give offering to them, then they will bring support to our practice. And also, there are practices in which you bless the very place you are practicing. And in a long retreat like Drupchen, great accomplishments, there are whole thing that we do in Vajrayana ritualistic practices, as you know. So these are, yes, they are significant. As long as we are dependent on external factors, yes, it matters where you practice. For that reason, Longchenpa gives these teachings. Okay. Now back to the text. Here, the translator gives the number on each paragraphs or each section of teaching here. So I'll go through the number. Okay, number 1, number 2, number 3, and you just follow with that. Now, number 1 has to do with seasons. In different seasons, different locations, certain locations are better. So which in this case, which makes a kind of common sense, So you will see here. Anyway, season, what we have, summertime, winter time, fall time, autumn time. Summertime, in Vajrayana teaching, we say summertime is a time of fire. Fire elements predominant in our beings, within and without. So, in a very warm weather, what would be best? Just use a common sense. It says, in summer, you should meditate in the regions that are cool and in cool habitations. Yeah, that's just common sense. In summertime, if it's a warm time, then in a cooling place is the best place. Likewise, here says, Longchenpa says, also what food you eat matters. In summertime, try to eat something that cools you down. What clothing you wear matters. Summertime, you wear less, thickness, less warmer clothes. So all this basically make common senses. Now, how about winter time? Winter time, we say it's a time for water elements predominant. So it's cooling time. In this time, what do? Go to a warmer place and meditate. Okay. So at the same time, not forgetting what you do, activity matter, what you eat matter, what you wear matter. So these are something to think about as a practitioner. Likewise, autumn time and springtime, we say springtime is earth elements time, autumn time is wind elements time. So in these times, you just have to find a balanced places, cool and warm balanced place. Okay, so that is the first number 1, basically using our common sense. Now, second, number 2 here. Second is what practices are suitable in what places. Which places are more suitable to what practices. So, in a more detailed teaching here. Okay. In practice, what we do, especially meditation, finding rest in meditation. What meditation we're mainly talking about here, calm meditation. Sometimes our mind is unusually monkey-like. So in that time, where one go, which place is best? Sometimes our monkey-like mind is quite, not that bad. It's calming, but still the clarity is not there. Dullness sets in. So when that happens, where would be best to go? Of course, as I said again, this place right where you are is the perfect place, but still certain location gives you certain boost, certain effect on your practice. So here it says, mountain heights, the mind is clear and vast in the mountain. If you have a dullness, snowy land, also, mind seems to be rather brighter, more clarity is there, lucidity is there. So it does, in fact, have very strong effect. If you go in a high mountain where you can have panoramic view, very clear day, it's naturally one feel like, our mind also gets some clarity, just naturally. So that's these are important to understand. These places are insight meditation, clarity, insight meditation, vipassana practices. And then goes, in forest groves, mind grows calm. Again, when you are top on the mountain, and if you find mind is rather very distracted, so it's time to calm down, so to speak, in a forest grove, where enclosed, the land is, places, location is enclosed, also trees around, fences around. It gives you certain effect on calming down and remain still in your meditations. Okay, then goes, at the foot of rocky crag, the sense of transcends, and a weary sorrow with samsara strengthens. Well, at the foot of rocky crags, obviously, when one see lots of this coming and going in the rocky crag, so it provokes you the understanding of transient nature of all, and as well as some sense of renunciation to the world provokes. Likewise, on the river bank, mind's imagination is curtailed. We say, if you practice on the river bank about impermanent nature of all phenomena, you can see the river is constantly flowing, never sitting still, river. So that provokes you some kind of understanding within the transient nature, coming and going, like that. Likewise, charnel ground are profound places where accomplishment is swift. Such places is thought are more propitious for any of the practice of generation and perfection stages. Vajrayana practice. Charnel ground is a perfect place for practice of generation and practice of completion stages. Okay, like that, certain places will have certain effect to your outer places, will have certain effect to your inner meditation. Okay. Okay. Now number 3. Number 3 has to do with the practitioners. Okay. For some practitioners, let's say practitioner, beginner practitioner, mediocre practitioner, advanced practitioner. For beginner practitioner, it is not good to go in the channel ground, to go in a haunted places. Not good. That has nothing to do with actually the place, but that has to do with the person. How about for advanced practitioner? Yes, these haunted places are best places. Actually, if I tell you a story, my own past life, Todin Kunzang Longdur, he was a true practitioner, and in his biography, it says that he went to 108 different basically haunted places, channel ground and wherever supposedly spirit and ghosts like spirit gather supposedly. So he went all this practice in all these places. For advanced practitioners, these places are perfect places in a way to test your own realizations. As we talk about emptiness of self, emptiness of this very being, emptiness of everything. Have I really realized that? If I have the realization, then who is the one that is going to be attacked? Right? Likewise, we talk about compassion and love to all sentient beings. If you love so much all sentient beings equally, then these haunted places, these spirits wandering, are also the object of your own compassion and loving kindness. An infinite, boundless equanimity. Where is it? If you have choices, some places are good, some places are bad. So for advanced practitioner, these places, haunted places, bad places are good places. And going further, as we know, in general practice of Vajrayana, is that taking all obstacles in the path of liberation, right? So as a seasoned practitioner, that's how everything goes. So for the beginner, then in town, market, empty houses, lonely trees, lonely temple, offering shrines, all these things are now not a good place for the beginner, but for the advanced practitioner, these are the good places. Okay. Now number 4. In brief, in those localities and dwellings, anywhere, you examine the place. If you find that first is kind of good, but again, as one practice, then one feel rather discouraged. Again, common sense. That's not a good place. And even if at the beginning you find not that place wasn't that good place, but as time goes, one feel great. All the practices one do seems to be successful. Then this is a wonderful place. And when you examine those places, there are good places for you as an individual, good places, bad places. There are neutral places, nothing really, good or bad for you, like that. Okay. So number 5 is something, yes, for a beginner, it is somewhat important to to examine the places at the beginning. For instance, you know, in Vajrayana practice, 4 activities, certain activities recommend in certain locations. If you mix those, it is quite difficult to accomplish that certain activities. Specifying activity, in order to accomplish that, it is rather preferable to practice in the peaceful, pacifying locations, like that. So rather, for the beginner practitioner, it's rather important to examine. Now 6. Okay, 6 is quite you know. Let me first tell you this. In the Vajrayana practice, we have so-called 4 activity practices. Pacifying activity, pacifying, basically. Sickness, problems, outer and inner. Developing activity, developing spiritual qualities, life, prosperity, all these developing activities, magnetizing activities, and liberating, subduing activities. So those practices, when we do, if we have an option, so choose a certain location is important, it says. So for instance, when you go to a place, some places you rather find naturally kind of calming. So here it says, for pacifying, the mind is focused naturally. When you go to that place, you feel like rather calming, pacifying. Some people are quite sensitive, so they can really feel this strongly. Some people, not very much. But these places are for pacifying activities. And for increasing, developing activity, the place should be delightful. When you go there, you feel great, feel certain joy. This is the place for developing activities. And magnetizing places are ravishing and stimulate attachments, bringing joy. So that place has a sense of attachment, sense of magnetizing. Not necessarily that very good place, beautiful place, but somehow it has that taste. Okay, anyway, first let me see this. And then subduing activity. Subduing activity, a place is the place which provoke anxiety and panic, fear even. Certain locations are rather quite scary places, feel like, for no reason. So these are the perfect places for liberating activities, okay? Likewise, in other teachings, we talk about if you build up, hermitage, what color it should be and what shape it should be. If it's built for pacifying activity, shape should be round. For developing, square. For magnetizing, crescent. For liberating, triangle. Likewise, the color of the place. White for pacifying, yellow for developing, red for magnetizing, darker for subduing color. So these are in fact not a big deal, but still we call Chinang Tendir Chikpa Teichir, outer and inner interdependently arising, the interdependent co-emergence. So outer places, inner practice, if these are kind of aligned, it's better than, for instance, if you practice, pacifying activity in a subduing places that may not be that suitable to each other. So it can be like that. Now 7. Now locations for a hermitage, if you build a hermitage. And that is meditation shelter in a peaceful place should be set apart in solitude, in a site that is congenial, a very open, spacious place where all around one sees the sky is most conducive. So this is where hermitage, if you're going to build a hermitage, generally speaking, that's a good place. Now number 8. Okay. Number 8 has 2 elements, daytime and nighttime hermitage. And then here, Longchenpa actually talked about hermitage, what kind of hermitage should be. Here, usually we say that hermitage should be, for the nighttime particularly, around, then now in the center is the meditation place, stage, or even a kind of a structural, yeah. And then to that meditation place, surrounded by 2 walls, inner wall and outer wall, 2 walls there. To that inner wall and outer wall all have opening for light in 4 directions. Actually, in this commentary, in the translation, English translation, is said 4 windows. That actually not there in the original teachings. 4 opening in the 4 directions. And then doors. The outer wall door is side door. When you walk in, you go clockwise. Go to the south, there's another door in the inner wall. Inner wall's door is south. You enter from that. And you continue. And then here on this, where you meditate, where you practice at night, here the step up or where you enter is from west. From west you enter and you sit facing to the north. So when you sleep, also facing to the north. So that's how Longchenpa explains. The significance, so much nighttime, these kind of actually build hermitage in order to protect our minds from all the negativity, in order to enhance spiritual quality, very, very important. In the daytime, then Longchenpa says, the hermitage should have a vast, expansive view in front, with open sky and distant views of snowy mountain, falling water, woods, and valleys. It would be very good, actually, right? For any meditator, these kind of places truly helps you for your meditations. So like that. Okay. Now, from number 9, then talks about for our meditation, you can say 2 qualities, right? All practice we do. That one quality is, of course, calmness should be there. If one is active, agitated mind, we call it sometimes, cannot practice. So much agenda is going on. So what we need, calm aspect of your mind that you can work with, that you have certain power or control over your own mind. And then our mind needs some kind of clarity. Without the clarity, even though calm mind actually doesn't really, itself actually doesn't matter, right? So clarity, vividness aspect of our mind in meditation is most important. So vividness and there be calmness. General teaching is so-called vipassana and shamatha practice, but that actually applies to all practices we do. Any practices we do, when we pray to Chenrezig in sadhana, Sunday practice, you should have a certain degree of calmness to your mind. Otherwise, how can you even think of Chenrezig? Visualize Chenrezig. And certain kind of clarity should be there. Everything's there. And yet, here, one I want to emphasize is that in Buddhist practice, or especially in the Vajrayana practice, Mahayana practice, we always talk about Shila Sunjuki Tengenzing, which means calm, abiding, and insight meditation, inseparable. Different aspect of mind, but meditation, but these are inseparable, in fact. That inside part is knowing everything in their essence, to their true nature, that is, empty in essence. So, meditation-wise, meditation-wise, these two qualities are very important. So, these two qualities, where one can achieve these two qualities now, and that is explained here on number 9, right? Okay. For the practice of abiding in tranquility, hermitage enclose is most propitious. Somehow, hermitage rather enclose, not really open. Again, when practice deep insight, the place should be spacious, has a vast open view. That's how, when you practice vipassana, deep insight, and shamatha practice, these are rather, the hermitage is rather close, surrounded by some fence or by, trees. And then for inside meditation, hermitage preferably should be open rather. Okay. And then the location, not only hermitage, how about the location wise, which is more inspiring for calmness mind, which is inspiring more to the inside meditation, clarity aspect. Here it says, low laying is the calmness, low laying place, locations. Darksome places such as forests and ravines are places fit for calm abiding, right? And then for clarity, highland such as snowy mountains or deep inside meditation, higher ground, higher place. So location wise now is quite clear. It's up, in the mountains, inspiring more deep insight meditation. Okay. Now, number 11. Number 11, actually, this is the Guru Rinpoche's instruction based on. So here, I would just read it. In short, what is good place, bad place to choose? In brief, the place and the hermitage, where you feel a sadness for samsara and the wish to free your soul. Certain place naturally give this. Locations where your mind rein in, rest in the presence, and your concentration grows. These are sites connecting you to virtue, right? There is a good place. You should live in such environment, resembling the place of a Buddha's own enlightenment, right? Now, not good place, places where your virtuous lessons and defilement grows, where you fall beneath the influence of the distracting business of life. Our demonic dance of evil deeds avoided by the wise. Padma, Gurupama, Sambhava, Sub-Horizon has explained them thus, and those who wish for freedom should take heed. Okay, so that is the explanation about locations. Now let me just leave you with a short story. As you know, I go on my winter journey to Pemaku, my own place, every year, or spend some time there. When I go there, I spend, after engaging some activities in the temple, then I spend my time on the retreat land. And many of you here who are taking class, you know what I'm talking about. Those of you who went to Pemaku, up there on the retreat land, I don't have electricity. That which means no phone, no computer, no TV, no nothing. And life is quite simple there. Yes, at the beginning, your habit is kind of continue. Sometimes I even pick up my phone to see what's there. Obviously, there is nothing. And then as you tune into that place, you feel something very powerful, the simplicity environment. You enter into that. And it's great. And I tell my friends here, when I look at it from that viewpoint, from that simplicity view, then I live my life in Santa Barbara. What a chaos. The TV, the computer, the phone, the rest, so much busy. And likewise, since we don't have electricity, we go to bed around 8:30. If it's 9, then it's too late. Going bed at nighttime at 8 means wake up around 3:30, 4 to the latest. And it really gives kind of harmony, inner and outer elements. Morning, witnessing the dawn of the day slowly. And of course, as a practitioner, all the past masters said, yes, in the morning is the time to practice. Even Buddha attained enlightenment in the morning. So sometimes I say to people here, you know what, in Pemaku, I wake up at 4 or 3:30, 3. Oh, really? Actually, there's nothing to surprise because we go to bed at 8:30. By the time we wake up around 3:34, we already slept through enough sleep. And something, when these things happen, something very powerful things happen to the timing, to the locations. And I sometimes wonder, yes, Kunchen Longchenpa, and other masters. Actually, my father used to say that the retreat land is, you see, Longchenpa, and actually also the detailed teaching of Karma Chami Rinpoche's detailed teaching about the location of the practice. Retreat land describes. My father used to say, see, this is high enough in the mountain for clarity aspect of practice, and also dense enough, it's lower and lots of trees around for calm abiding practice, and also constantly hearing the river below, the sacred river constantly flowing down there, inspiring you to think about impermanence of nature. This is a perfect place. Now, as you think about it, wherever you are, each description here described, it shows that basically, all these things, in fact, it's there. It's there. Not only my father described to the retreat land in Pema, but actually your own place, you can find all the unique qualities. So, to this end, I want to say that why Longchenpa talk about places? He talk about places in one sense to appreciate that each location has its own unique power for different practices. Yes, it is important for us to know. As a true dedicated practitioners, yes, of course, it's important to know so that we choose. If there is a choice, we choose. And for Vajrayana practitioner, then we do certain practices at the beginning of sadhana, as you know. So when you are done that, then there's no such concept of the good or bad. But at least these things to know is important. For that reason, Longchenpa define what is good place to practice. Okay. Okay, now we go to the second Vajra point, okay? Second Vajra point. What page is this? Page 11, okay. Now, second Vajra point is the person who practices Dharma, the practitioner. Define that. This is in some ways important for us because in this modern world, see everywhere, people want to have some kind of, for physical health, for mental health, they practice like yoga or kind of thing. Wonderful for your physical. And then I heard lots of companies even employ certain meditation techniques so that their employees have rather calm mind. For what? They can focus in the daytime to their work, to attain whatever they are doing more clearly. So the question is the yoga practitioners are Dharma practitioners? Are they Dharma practitioners? Those who do certain meditation, breathing, calming, are they practitioners? We don't know. First, we have to figure out what Longchenpa says. Okay. What Longchenpa says here is basically defining what is practitioner, Dharma practitioner, so-called Dharma practitioner, what he or she should practice. So that's all about. Okay. Again, I'll go through number. Okay, first let me actually read this. Very important. We usually say that not, it says in a certain teachings of Longchenpa, other teachings said that the example he gives, for instance, if you grow a Bodhi tree of enlightenment, where it should grow, it need a ground. On the dry land in the house, it cannot grow. It need a proper ground. So that ground, what is that ground? That ground is in the ground of devotion, in the ground of diligence, and in the ground of renunciation, sense of renunciation. In that ground, this Bodhi tree will grow. What is the seed of enlightenment? That to grow that seed, the very seed, that very seed is bodhicitta. Enlightenment comes from bodhicitta. The very seed of enlightenment, the bodhicitta, the Bodhi tree seed, the Bodhi tree where it grows, like that. So as a practitioner, all in all, what we need is these devotions, this diligence, let's keep on going, the inspirations, the willingness, the power, the encouragement. And then sense of renunciation, knowing the nature of samsara, and with that, some form of, willingness to renounce and then turn genuinely to the path of liberations. So, with that, let me go through this verse. Now the persons who engage in practice should have diligence and faith, devotion, and feel a wholesome sorrow wishing to be free. Weary with samsara, they should strive for liberation. Forsaking thus this life's concerns, they yearn to be enlightened in the next. They should recoil from busyness, from busy entertainment and distractions, and have but few defilements. Of course, defilements are the ones who prevent for further development. So defilements, few defilements. A broad and spacious mind they need, an attitude of tolerance, and of pure perceptions, particularly for Vajrayana practitioners, of course, and of great devotions. They should be dedicated to the service of the doctrines. People such as these will gain higher liberation. People such as these are the practitioners, okay? That's it. Rest is his story here. That paragraph alone is the teachings, okay? Now, second paragraph, number second. And here, Longchenpa says, okay, this person, when you first begin the path of the Buddha Dharma, generally advice actually, first you need is a teacher, authentic teacher who has certain understanding of Buddha Dharma well, and basically who has a bodhicitta, genuinely wishing the good for all sentient beings. So basically finding a right teacher. And then, now keep in mind, we're talking about a good practitioner here, right? dedicated Dharma practitioners. And then how one practice Dharma. Here, Longchenpa talks about with study, with reflection, with meditations. Of course, first is study. That's one discipline in Buddhist practice. Second, reflections. What you have studied, you reflect on it, the meaning. Impermanence, what does that mean? Some suffering of samsara, what does that mean? When you reflect on it, certain kind of profound understanding emerge from your own reflections. That understanding that you attain from your own reflection is the powerful one. And you put that then into meditations. We apply that understanding, not just remain in theoretical, intellectual level, but really integrate. Ultimately speaking, we say you become the Dharma. Not the Dharma you explain, but you become the Dharma. So how you do that is from relying on an authentic teacher to the study, to the reflection, to the meditation, then one truly attain liberations. Okay. So that is the second, second subject. And third, okay, third is a big subject here. Let's see, whatever time we have. I will briefly explain. Now this person entering into the path of liberation, what do you need? We say 3 vows. Yeah, 3 vows. In Tibetan, Chi Sotarji Domba, Pratimoksha vow, individual liberation, Nangchang Semchi Domba, inner Bodhisattva vow, Sawang Hachi Domba, secret level, Mantrayana, vow of Mantrayana. So, without taking these 3 vows, or one of those, you cannot really, you are not the practitioner. Okay, here's the conditions. Chi Sotaji Domba now, outer Pratimoksha vows. Well, what are those? Here we talk about also detailed teaching, right? The whole Vinayana teaching is all about that. So but still if you kind of condense those teachings, Sostapa Rignu is the main one. There's 7 categories there. Upasaka vows, Upasaka, Upasika for female, male and female, lay practitioners, and then Shamanerinin, and then Gelobma, and then Vikshu, Vikshuni, basically like that. So lay practitioner at least one should have Pratimoksha vow. Outer Pratimoksha vow is Upasaka or Upasika. In Upasaka and Upasika, what are the vows? The first thing is vows. We talk about 4 vows, 5 vows. 4 vows, like, very basic ones. No killing, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no telling lie. And then on top of that, sometimes intoxicating, taking intoxicant or liquid. So these are the 4 or 5 Upasika vow. The Upasika vow can be observing 1, 2, 3, or all Upasika or Upasaka vows. So that's how you enter in the path of liberation. You become a practitioner. And then detail. Then detail is very detailed. For instance, for monks, we have 253 kind of vows. first 4 root defeat, or 4, four vows, and then 13 remainings, and then 120 downfalls, and 4 individually should be confessed. So shall be Niji. And then Niji missed it, 112 missed it altogether. Lots of vows. Okay. So these are Geron, or Vikshu, fully ordained monks. Now, Bodhisattva vows. Bodhisattva vows, first, how we get this, from taking refuge, we naturally receive these vows, Upasaka vows, for instance. Upasaka, I'm talking about. And there are particular ceremony also is done for Upasaka vows. And then Bodhisattva vows, we do Bodhisattva vow ceremony. We try our best here. So that time we want to receive Bodhisattva vows. And these we talk about 18 downfalls, like that can happen to the king, that can happen to the minister, that can happen to the ordinary beings, like that. And then Mantrayana vow. Basically, there is, whenever one receive empowerment, naturally one receive. So now, that's rather quite, detail, goes to very detail. But what we have to know what is the essence. In essence, what are those vows? Outer pratimoksha vow that one must keep. Outer pratimoksha vow is we say, completely abstaining from harming others, directly or indirectly. That is outer pratimoksha vows. Helping others, bringing benefit to others directly or indirectly is bodhisattva vows. Pure perceptions, at least to your teacher, is the mantrayana vows. Wow. Now, what we do here? Nagarjuna said, which means this moral conduct or vows are the basis of all the spiritual path, the ground of all the spiritual path. Without such, one cannot build any spiritual quality on top. Without such ground, there's nothing, right, to build. So, for us as a practitioners now, in short, what we have to have then, as a practitioner, right, authentic practitioner, means abstaining from all negative deeds. Really, you do not, if you have a really intention to hurt others and rejoice in that, then you are not a practitioner. Everything's gone. All the practices you have done, all the practices you pretend to be, we have to be quite serious here. In this case, no joke. Lots of jokes, but this case, no joke. Hurting others intentionally, rejoicing in it. If you feel good about it, we are done. Now, bodhisattva vows, in short, is you really give up. Okay, this person I'm done with. The aspiration to benefit is give up. The aspiration to put bodhicitta into action is give up. No, I cannot, will not do that to benefit this being. We are in a very, very wrong place. If you want to be Mahayana practitioner, then there must be this keeping this no one left behind, these aspirations, this willingness to engage. Okay, Vajrayana practitioner, pure perceptions. Try our best, willingness to try. So, as the ground of this whole spiritual path. So, please, think about as a practitioner. Here we talk about Vajrayana practitioner. Vajrayana practitioner means outer Pratimoksha vows, inner Bodhisattva vows, innermost secret Mantrayana vows. We all have this, should have this. And without this, then everything is a job. Really become job. We have to be serious here. So let us keep our vows, abstaining from hurting others, never give up the willingness to help others, bring infinite service to infinite sentient beings. And then pure perception, try our best. Okay, so that's enough. Okay, now number 4. Okay. Number 4, I won't read now, so we don't have time. Plus, I'm not a good reader at all. So number 4 is basically now with this vow, keeping these vows. Again, make sure I'm not talking about the whole vows, Vikshuni's vow, Upasaka vows, even basic level. These vows, Bodhisattva vows, Pratimoksha vows, Vajrayana vows, Mantrayana vows. Then this person, how proceed to practice? Now, in order to proceed to the practice, first is mind. In Buddhism, everything is mind. Mind is most important. To tame this mind. First, tame this mind. How we tame this mind? If it's difficult to tame, then find a solitude, an isolated place. In that, then one try with this body, with this mind. We try with this speech, practice Dharma, and live a life of mindfulness. And ultimately speaking, what is we are doing here is, taming this mind. Taming this mind from what? Taming this mind, trying to be free from all negative thoughts. And try to clean this mind, make this mind a very, free of all these defects, and pure mind, compassionate mind, loving kindness mind. So all these things, positive mind one generate. So those who have 3 vows now engage in the practice, emphasize on the mind training. Okay, discipline your mind. Then number 5. Now on the path, while one is on the path, practicing, wherever maybe different retreat land or temple go, there are people, again, who make judges on you. Some praise you, some blame on you. Really, people shake our comfort zone. We don't know how we shake others' comfort zone, but we know how other people shake our comfort zone. When that happens, Longchenpa gives the instruction, view all these things as dreamlike. magical illusion-like illusions. Actually, in this resting in illusion, finding rest in illusion, will have a detail in 8th chapter. Longchenpa detail out the teaching on 8 illusory natures, 8 different examples. I remember in a monastery when we call Yanne summary too, when we do at the time when each time we finish the session, we read this verses Kamaravi, Mametan Jumasepa, Chubuta, Manamlotan, Tintawu Nujichunam Tetata, which means I view this whole phenomena as a dream, as an illusion, as a mirage, all these things, 8. And young monks just go, ready to leave the temple without thinking very much of the meaning. But anyway, if one can view like that, what Longchenpa says here, then nobody shakes comfort zone. There will be a time that nobody will be able to shake our comfort zone. So Longchenpa gives advice like this. And then number 6. Okay. Since in this present evil time, well, Longchenpa here gives, you practice Dharma. Don't try to share and try to benefit with, lead other people on your path. First is very important for your own practice. Very important. Birds without wings cannot fly. Without stabilizing your own practice well, you cannot bring benefit others with Dharma. Very difficult, particularly in this degenerate time. Degenerate time means degenerate view, degenerate emotion, degenerate sentient beings, degenerate emotions, ever more negative emotions are prevalent. So in this case, nobody can, people cannot really benefit others. So therefore, it's important to practice. First, do your own practice. Actually, let me tell you this story. When Milarepa was leaving, can you stop that inside sound? When Milarepa was, Milarepa's student Gampopa, when he was leaving, he actually said that, asked Milarepa, when is the time that I can help others, bring benefit to others? When is that I should do? And Milarepa said, there will be a time you will see this very old man, Milarepa referring to himself, you see me as a real Buddha. And at that time, you must know it's a time for you to go out and benefit others. So it shows that certain level of realization is attained, it's difficult to benefit others. So first, foremost important to do your own practice is the advice here. Okay, number 7, don't have much time. Okay, number 7 is rather important. Here Longchenpa gives quite an instruction. He says, okay, examine your level of your practice. Imagine if you were going to die today. What have you learned in this life? What kind of realization you have attained? Do I have a confidence what I'm taking with me to the next? What kind of merit you have accumulated? Actually, I just heard one of my friend, a Tibetan, he was cancer and dying. And she said she went to see him. And he said to her, he did not have really time to practice Dharma. That's an excuse. We all have. But he said one of that he is proud of is he has never harmed intentionally any other people. Maybe it has to do with his, timid mind, not brave enough. But anyway, ended up not harming any other people. So that's all he find, the merit or good thing in him. So at the end of our life, like that, looking back, that's kind of a little bit too late. We have to do right now, Longchenpa's view is. If you're going to die today, what do we have left? If we have left nothing, then it is time for you to put up your diligence, practice Dharma. We say that real practitioners, at the time of death, they never have a regret. Not only that, they are actually, some due to the physical sickness, suffering, they're actually willing to transit this life. They have confidence what's next coming. Good practitioners. At least practitioners should not have any regret. So like that, are we there? Think about that. So what is important here is that the effort, some diligence is what we need. In the West, you all have actually a great deal of knowledge already, but what is lacking is our lack of diligence. Really, diligence, what is lacking. I want to tell you this story. Not a story, but my own kind of, sometimes I see these things. Why people are not end up practicing Dharma. When people wake up in modern time, we have so-called phone. See, when you woke up, first you do is you grab the phone. This I realize, especially in Pema. In my own observation, when you look up the phone, you go through Facebook, here's good news or bad news, something happening in the world. And what's next? Scroll down. Here's the next, here's the next, here's the next. Or you look at that second one, third one. It's already time passed. Wow, now it's time to go to take shower. Already. After taking shower, it's now already time to eat. After eating, it's time to go to work. That continues. Or sometimes we have a remote control. As soon as we wake up, put on that TV. So what is lacking is our diligence. In order to generate this diligence, this more effort to the Dharma, what is lacking is first things you wake up and just go and sit on the meditation cushion, open the text. That first movement is very, very important, very important. Otherwise, some people call me and say, hi, Tukula, I wanted to do Hondo, but I did not have time. You're right, you do not have time, we are all right. But not really, if you put the effort. You chose the phone when you wake up. You chose the TV remote control when we wake up. When we come back home from your work, that's what happened again. So of course there's no time. Obviously there will not be a time which time says to you, okay, now is the time to practice Dharma. There will not be such time, right? So I'm just telling you this. So in order to generate diligence, somehow we have to think about. How about like this? You just try at least 1 week from today. When you wake up, not go for the phone, not go for the remote control, but just stand up, sit in your meditation seat. And just take that time. You think about how long you take time going through WeChat, WhatsApp, all the apps. Take that time to meditate. We have time. We can make our time. So diligence, okay? Longchenpa here says diligence. The rest of the verse is very easy. Just inspire for diligence. Diligence, as we talk about in Shantideva's class, whole chapter is about diligence, right? Heroic perseverance. What we need is effort. Do that practice. Just do that practice. In this case, laziness, general laziness. Jawang Yenshinki Lelo is something we indulge into activities, that's not Dharma. Jawang Yenshinki Lelo. Jilu Danini Pilelo. Sometimes we think, okay, Dharma is very profound. It's difficult to practice. So these are Jilu Danini Pilelo, self-contempt. So these laziness are not good. So you remember, even Shantideva's class teaching 3 kinds of laziness, right? And then diligence, 4 powers, willingness, encouragement, all these things Shantideva talked about, the joy in the practice. So what is lacking for us is not the knowledge, not the lineage blessings. We have received lots of blessings. But we are lacking the effort, the diligence, heroic perseverance, okay? Hopefully that change before it's too late. I always think about that. Let me tell you a story, actually. This is a very short story. When Gampopa has to do with Gampopa again. When Gampopa was leaving Milarepa, Gampopa asked Milarepa, can you give me a last pit instructions? Very important, they take with me for the rest of my life. Milarepa said, no, I have given you all the instructions. Done. You go ahead. But again, insist. And then actually, no, Milarepa reject. So Gampopa was leaving. And as Gampopa walked away, Milarepa said, dear son, heart son, come back here. I have a last instructions. When Gampopa come back, Milarepa turned around and pulled up his skirt and showed Gampopa his butt. There's that buttock sitting on the rock for so long, all careless. Quite obvious how that, butt has been sitting on the rock, all the hard conditions. So Milarepa said, this is my instructions to take for the rest of your life. So, ultimately speaking, diligence is what we need. Are you going to recite 100 times a mantra mala? Just sit in 5 minutes in meditation. All has to do with diligence. So please keep up. As Longchenpa says here, your diligence. Okay. So now, number 8, Patu Rinpoche's, number 8 here, Longchenpa says, if you ever want to practice Dharma and then put diligence, this is the time. This is the perfect time, really. This is the perfect time to put all the, effort and practice. Basically, that's the teaching here. And number 9, then basically, as our Hondo says, this is a precious life. As a practitioner, we have to have the diligence. We have to think this life is a precious. right? Same teaching here says life is like a boat to cross the ocean of samsara. Same as Shantideva's class, right? This life that we have is like a boat. Came from so much causes and conditions, so much ready to sail to cross the ocean of samsara. Now not sailing it, such a loss. So while one have it, we have to use it. Please view this life is precious. Every moment is precious. And then goes to the number 10. Life is impermanent. Don't think that we will have this opportunity next year. Such with this COVID-19, we are right under our nose. Impermanent is displaying, really. These kind of events should invoke a profound understanding of impermanence. So life as it is, one's own, this very body one have, this very precious time one have is so much, transcend nature. So understanding that, you put effort, you practice Dharma. So as a practitioner, one must have this, reflect this on this impermanence of life. Number 11, suffering nature of samsara. Same thing. Suffering nature is everywhere. All sentient beings wish for happiness, do not wish for suffering, but suffering is a part of it. Number 12. So, if at the outset you have grasped this well, all the mention, all the to be a practitioner, how it should be, all these graphs well, you will in future swiftly come to the enlightened state. Longchenpa saying. Now you know what does practitioner means. And once your own good, you have gained the good for others, you will naturally achieve, right? Now the supreme path you have discovered leading you to freedom from samsara. All that you do now accord with Dharma. Thus, you are the basis for attainment of enlightenment. Okay, so that is how Longchenpa defines practitioner. What does practitioner means? Devotion, renunciations, diligence, to relying on a perfect teacher, studying 3 ways of Dharma, to receiving these 3 vows, keeping these vows as a basis. And on that, continue with the mind training, focusing on mind, and then the rest, basically all the practice, diligence, reflect all the time on the two preciousness of human life, impermanent nature of human life, all this. So here defines what is practitioners. If you have all these qualities, now you are ready. Now you are the perfect vessel. You are the perfect ground in which the tree of enlightenment will grow. And a path of enlightenment you will walk on this and you will achieve enlightenment. So in order that to happen, first and foremost, we have to know what does it means to be a practitioner. So with this, I hope we have a pretty clear understanding of what does practitioner means. Okay. Sorry for the little bit over time, but we will do next time on time. With that, if you have one question, two questions, then we will conclude. Any questions?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Martha,
Oh, yeah.
raise her hand.
Yes. Thank you, Tukla.
Ah,
That was very, very informative. Could you say a little more just about regarding the Vajrayana vow? You were saying pure perception, trying to maintaining pure perception. Could you just say a little bit more about what that looks like?
We say, there are actually vows, different ways of explaining Vajrayana vows. And that Vajrayana vows basically goes so detailed that which encompass the whole thing. To be a perfect Vajrayana practitioner, you have to be able to use these substances. You should be able to act like that, like this. You should be able to view this whole phenomena with your pure perceptions. Without, as you know, when we do the confession practice, see, we confess that one do not have this pure perception, knowing these ordinary phenomena, not being able to turn this ordinary phenomena into pure phenomena. So samaya, Vajrayana samaya that goes kind of very detailed, but all begin with the teachers, samaya of teachers relating to teachers' wisdom, body, speech, and mind. But all in all, that goes in detail, but all in all, if you condense it, it all lies into the pure perceptions. Vajrayana teaching, the root of very path, the very path is the pure perception. Pure perception, then, that is a long story. Pure perception begin with your own teacher, to whom you may be able to generate, most likely is to your own teacher. And can you view your teacher as a Buddha? Try our best. And then we don't end there. Can you view your Vajra brothers and sisters with pure perceptions? So now, what is Vajrayana? If you view that and then act and then do things to your teacher without any sense of pure perception, go to very ordinary way, or very ordinary way to your Vajra brothers and sisters. So these are actually breaking the samayas. So Vajrayana vows has to do with keeping all these things, but in ways it is impossible. Almost for the beginner, it's impossible. Yes. So in Vajrayana practice, we do so-called, Guru Rinpoche talk, the Kini talk, each month. It's a tradition that in the Vinaya tradition we call sojong. Every full moon and new moon we do 2 times a month sojong. Vajrayana practice like that, Jong means purifying the broken samayas. So means restoration. So like that. Okay, next question.
Thank you, Tukula. Very good. Thank
you.
Aaron now.
Thank you, Tukula.
Yeah.
I have one question with 2 parts. The first part is for people who have not taken the Upasaka vows in a formal ceremony. does that mean that they haven't received them in some other time or place? Like, is it implicit in some other level of vow or in refuge vow or anything like that? And then the second part of the question is, for people who have taken the upasaka vow in a formal ceremony, is there a text, like a sojong text for Genyans or for upasakas that you can do at a certain time of the month?
Yeah, your first question. Yes, all of you here, I believe, already received, because empowerment, sometimes when do empowerment, comes together. As I said, taking refuge vow is naturally you are receiving upasika vows. And of course, we all have that. And each time empowerment receive these three vows included in those vows. Some of you might have, of course, paid close attentions like that. And yet, yes, we do have certain, upasika vows, and then certain bodhisattva vows like that. But mostly, upasika vow with a refuge, bodhisattva vows is there, we do, and then Vajrayana vows are, with the empowerment, we receive those things. And the upasika vow, we don't really have a sojong or monthly purification restoration. So that is, I guess, as a upasika, you are very basic. No killing, no stealing, all this, 5 precepts as I explained. So these, as a practitioner, if you regard yourself as a Dhamma practitioner, then of course, if you do not regard or guard these precepts, then nothing is left. I guess not much left. And then for sojong, for shamanarins, from shaman we go getsul, and gelhong ma, they will do then, sojong vows. So that, because there are lots of, as I explained, lots of different vows that is broken, they need to restore. Okay, everybody, thank
So we
you.
have one more question. Do you mind?
Okay, one more.
Let me just grab him. There you go. Rex, it's yours.
Thank you, Rinpoche. I want to ask you about this is relative to the vows. I have wanted to, grow my practice, of course, and I need permission, I guess, to practice the superior preliminaries, which are creation and completion stages. And there are a lot of training and teaching that we've already heard that go along with those. But for instance, I have not been given permission to do Vajrasattva practice because it's not practical for me yet. So I have a very strict upbringing, and I'm just wondering, what may I practice? How or what? In what way do I progress to get permission to do the stages, the two superior stages of creation and completion?
I'm not sure if I really understand your question, but here I would say, yes, there are certain practices you need permission, especially some certain Vajrayana practices you need empowerment. Other than that, everything is to be practiced, to generating a good heart, to abstaining from anything negative deeds, doing our best, reciting one mantra, to everything you practice. And a special preliminary practice you may be referring to, we will discuss later. Next time we discuss about it. And then you do your practice. And there are some restrictions, but most of the time, of course, you have plenty of things to practice. And I hope
Yes.
you practice those. Okay. And I hope this teaching,
Yeah.
this discussion give you some clarity.